A motion by Helmut.
Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the townships, you know, those people that make laws and regulations that affect you out there.
That's right, Elgin. And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you went and elected. And there are commissions and committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you chose to go to that meeting or not. And the result can be a taxing situation, and now you can go.
Where would you like me to go? No, we won't talk about that. No, I think it's very interesting in the standpoint that these meetings, a lot of times people don't show up. There's maybe one or two people that, you know, sit in on the meeting.
Most of the time they check their shoes.
And as you say, if the ox needs to be gored or whatever, there's usually a room full of people. But, you know, it's to your best interest, folks, if you get out there and you attend these meetings, because it could, as he points out, very much affect you down the line. And it may not be so humorous, but we're going to find humor within this Minutes by Minute, as you shall see.
Absolutely.
Now, we do also occasionally, one of us more than the other, provide rumors to what goes on in these meetings, so pay close attention,
Sometimes
folks.
rumors with humors.
Right. Well, you can actually learn more about this too by going to OCCTV.org and clicking on programs and checking out the meeting for yourself. Right?
Right.
Okay.
So what you got?
I got a few things here. Let's finish up. We ended with the Village of Oxford Council meeting that they had on February 13th and didn't have an opportunity to complete it. Of course, we know the people that sit on that board. Sue Bassard is the chair. Eric Dolan, of course, serves on that board. Dave Bailey and Maureen Helmuth and Jill Frost. And where I want to pick up on is the manager's report, who is Joe Madure, who's the new village manager. He's been on, I think, about a month now. Isn't it about a month?
About a month, yeah.
Okay. He discussed about water bills, and we did say that they had to replace the batteries in the readers. So the company that is responsible for these readers that read your water meters, they are now they're going to advance and change these batteries. Good idea to change batteries, right?
That's good, but that brings up a question.
What's that?
How long do those batteries last?
Until they stop. But no, I think there's probably an indicator on the meter that'll indicate the strength of the battery.
That's true, but it's a cost.
And you never know. If you don't use the battery,
what...
sometimes they do drain even if they're sitting there. So, you know, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, so he pointed out that there were 20 door hangers placed on doors for people who did not pay their water bills. And they have roughly 72 hours. You folks have 72 hours that receive these in order to respond before your water gets shut off.
Okay. Will they do that?
They will do it. They will shut it off. And then there would be an expense to turn the water back on once you pay your bill. So you want to take care of it now on the front end. And he did talk about the insurance, that they had a reassessment of all the properties that were affected within the village. That there's workman's comp also that was under discussion, and insurance for the employees just slightly hit. And as I say, you can get this information, you know, by going to our website and watching the actual meeting. Excuse me. Also, we want to point out that they had an office employee, Andrea, who left last month. So they've been a little short on woman power.
Are they looking for another employee?
They are looking for somebody, I believe. They still need an office clerk for that position. Right now there's a temporary hired.
An office clerk or a clerk?
A clerk. A clerk.
Okay.
Yeah, for the office. Would you call that an office clerk?
Well, at the township level, it's an elected position, but
right.
I don't think it is
This
at the
isn't an
village.
elected position, no.
Okay.
This would be a hired position.
All right.
And actually, the clerk from Addison Township is fulfilling the responsibility there right now on a temporary basis.
Okay.
On a short contract, I think.
Renewable.
Spread another rumor.
Monthly renewable.
It could be, yes. Okay. Brian Cloutier was also the person who's the director for the library, public library here in Oxford, said that he'd like to see a sign on M24 pointing to the direction of where the library would be. That was another interesting point. Russell Gill who's with the Planning Commission. We mentioned last meeting, I believe, that we had with the Minutes by Minute, that there was an individual leaving the Planning Commission meeting. That would be Russell Gill. And it was approved, by the council for him to resign, which is part of the formality, I think.
So there's a job opening out there.
There could be, yes. And if you're interested in Planning Commission, give him a call or talk to him at the village offices and see what it takes in order for you to get on this board. Let me see. Some advancement is being made with the web that they need to generate for the village as you folks try to use the website. It hasn't been, what should we say?
Updated.
Stellar. It's been an issue. As a matter of fact, there's several connections that need to be made there. The DDA website needs to be updated as well. And as a matter of fact, one of the discussions they had at the DDA meeting was this website and who's going to kind of spearhead this and get it moving in conjunction with the village as well.
Good.
Okay, makes sense. So, with that, council comments, let me see. Maureen Helmuth, she said, complimented DPW, Don Brantley, and the great job that they did with that massive snowstorm. Remember that storm?
Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah? Okay. Well, they did no time at all, and his crew took care of, these streets
They
nice
found
and
an
clean.
answer to the question, that's a lot of snow, where do we put it?
All right. Well, Don figured it out. He packed it all in your backyard. Did you look back there lately? You haven't checked it, right? Okay.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, that's a good place to put it. So anyway, Eric Dolan said that there needs to be greater teeth involved with the enforcement. And he would like to see stronger control of enforcement for downtown, for parking situation, as well as for people not taking care of the snow issues in front of the businesses and so forth. And anybody who is in conflict with the ordinances involved with the village. He said that they're pretty much slap the wrist and they're gone. So he wants to see more strength put to that, and they pretty much said that that was a good idea. And as a matter of fact, they have Dan Durham, who is what I call the enforcer, because he enforces the ordinances requirements. And he has been rehired, of course.
Is that his singular job, or does he have another one with the village?
No, that's his singular job, but it's only like a part-time. He does it 3 days a week. I don't know what else he does. I suspect, knowing Dan, he's busy doing some other responsibility somewhere else, probably.
I see.
So anyway, so you folks that are thinking, well, they won't see me do this, that's going to change. Dan Durham, the big guy, 6'8" or whatever he is, pretty good sized guy, he will be hiding behind every little shrub. You might be able to spot him.
Especially if he's 6'8".
Right. So anyway, make sure you mind your P's and Q's and take care of those issues, trash and so forth, the way it should be done. Dumping in the village drains, no. If you're mopping water or you want to dump it there, not a good idea. It's against ordinance, so they'll make you aware of that and you'll be ticketed more than likely. All right, that being said, that takes care of the loose ends, and we'll talk about what came up after this in other meetings, right after we come after this.
Are you a movie buff? A gamer? A fan of music? Or do you just enjoy all things media? Then you should watch Media Maniacs on Monday through Friday at 3:30 and at 11:30 on the weekends, right before the all-night movies. Remember, Media Maniacs. They review everything, and they're just crazy enough to do it.
Hello, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles.
And together, Terry and I, we host a program called Oxford News This Week.
We cover all the news in our community, your backyard, Addison Township, Oxford Township, the village of Oxford, and Leonard. And you can catch us on Mondays through Friday. Right?
Right. Noon, 6:30, and 11 p.m.
Saturday and Sunday, 6:30 and 11 p.m. So don't miss it. Watch us on YouTube or our Charter Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99. We will see you there.
There's a lot of history to Oxford. Hidden around every corner, deep in every crack, and sometimes right in front of you, waiting to be discovered. If you just dig a little, you'll find the great history of our beautiful town. Welcome
to historic Oxford.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we are now about to talk about the Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. And the people that serve on that township board is Corey Bailey, who's the vice chair. The chairperson actually is Jim Butler. And you have Marjorie Payne on that board. Kelly Rossner Myers serves on that board, as well as Todd Walters. And in this particular meeting, Deanna Cushing was acting secretary recorder.
Oh.
For the meeting.
Isn't she deputy supervisor at the township?
She is. Very powerful person to be doing this. Very knowledgeable, very smart individual, And she's from Addison Township, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she works here, has been with the township for a number of years. Very, very intelligent young lady. Anyway, let's talk about the proceedings. They did the pledge to the flag. They approved the agenda immediately. No problems there. Minutes approval for October 9th, 2017 and January 8th, 2018 were approved. Marjorie Payne made the motion. Didn't take any time, Zipple, to take care of that. Public comment, not on the agenda.
No public to comment?
Yeah, there is public there, but very few public, and nobody wanted to speak. So
Okay.
anyway, they zipped right on by that one. Regular business, there was a zoning board appeals, or not appeals, but a zoning issue. Yeah, it was appeals. Applicant was Clean Cars Incorporated. Remember we talked about that particular business before?
Where were they located?
Well, 157 South Washington in Oxford is where they want to be, which is the old Burger King location.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually owned by what they call 1010
So it's a
Holdings
used car lot.
Incorporated.
It's a used car lot.
It's a used car lot, yeah. But 1010 Holdings Incorporated actually owns it, and they're out of Orchard Lake, Bloomfield.
Where are they located right now?
Where are they located? Just
they're-
down Washington
they're-
Street on the right side of the road, next to, I think, the heating and cooling.
Ah,
business.
okay. So they're going across
Yep.
the street,
You're
basically.
going across the street. Now you know why the chicken crossed the road.
There you go.
This chicken's going to cross the road if they have any way to do it. But the issue that they had was it's for an open air business, which they want to put their used cars on display. But there's a problem with the distance from the
Setback.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Thanks. Boy, you're really getting sharp here, bud. You scared me
I
half to
learned a
death.
lot from you. It's scary.
Okay. Attorney was there, David McDonald, representing these folks. And he pointed out that this business has been in business since 1999, so it's been around for a while. They have several locations. One is Emily City, and the other one is Orion Township. And the site plan has already been approved, and their special land use has also been approved in order to do this.
Are they retaining the building or going to get rid of it?
They're going to keep the building, but they are going to do some renovation to the building,
Okay.
make it conducive
Yeah.
to their business. Property, let me see, what do we got here? Vacant since 2015, it was pointed out, so it's been sitting there. No auto repair will be done at the location, no oil going down the drain, we just talked about that. That's not going to happen. Setbacks are the main concern, which you just brought out, and that was the whole issue. It was pointed out that the business next to them has a zero setback on the sides, and that there really is no reason why these folks could not have a zero setback as well. But that's not really what they were asking for, and what actually derived from this was that there was a variance approved that normally would have been a 35-foot setback on the side, or on the back would be 25 feet, and on the side would be 25-foot variance, north side and south side. Normal would be 30 feet. So the setback would give them 5 feet on each side,
Okay.
what it would boil down to. So that being said, that took care of it, and that made sense to them. They went ahead and they approved it. So that took care of the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting that they had for the township. Or Oxford, I mean. Oxford Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay, next one we're going to talk about is the Oxford Township Board of Trustees. Bill Dunn serves on the board, Joe Ferrari, Curtis Wright, Margaret Payne, Patty Durr, Jack Curtis, and yours truly. Yep. And Kelly Richter was the recording secretary for this particular meeting. She does a great job, by the way. They did the preliminaries, flag, the agenda. Joe Ferrari. Joe Frost is with the village. Joe Ferrari is their treasurer for the township. Does a great job too for the township. He moved some of the agenda items around. Nothing real serious, so we won't get into that right now. You folks can check it out again on our website, occtv.org, and check the meeting. Consent agenda, including the bills of $61,401.70. So if you want to write a check for that, you can do that.
The
right
70
now.
cents?
Yeah. Okay. Public comment, not on the agenda. None. Okay. And by the way, there were people here too, so at this particular meeting, quite a few. First reading, minor in possession ordinance. Skip McMillan, who is the prosecuting attorney for Oakland County, was there and gave a presentation on that. And
In possession of what?
Possession of alcohol.
Okay.
So you should know.
What?
No, maybe you wouldn't. So anyway, so they did discuss that and what the offense was going to be. The offense was 90 days in jail and $500 fine on the first offense. Now that has changed somewhat. It's changed now to a civil infraction. There will be no record where there would have been a record previous to this, but now there would be a $100 fine on the first offense. And as a misdemeanor on the second offense, you'd have $200 fine on the second offense. So they're being a little more liberal in the way they're treating these younger people, or people that have a drinking issue, at least to start with.
Well, it's a possession issue.
Possession issue. They have it, and we're assuming they're drinking.
The drinking issue is another thing
Would they be
altogether.
drinking?
Well, if it's a DUI,
Yeah, it's not a DUI.
there's a lot of, well, that's a misdemeanor in
So
itself,
they
I
shouldn't
think.
drink this stuff in the car, that's for sure. While they're going down the road.
Do you think?
That's pretty much a no-brainer, isn't it?
Well, that's what happens, though.
Hey, where'd that red light come from? I don't get this.
But conviction of a DUI is only a misdemeanor here, but it's considered a felony in Canada.
Right.
And they will let you know that at the bridge or the tunnel because they'll turn you around.
And the first question they have when they roll their window down, what did I do wrong, officer? Right? Okay, well, you're going to know what you did wrong. Okay, repeat offenders now, it gets a little tougher. It's $7,500 maximum with 6 months in jail.
Yikes!
Yeah, now they're getting serious. Okay, let me see, check your record. Yeah, I had 2 previous ones.
That's a big jump from a $100 hand slap.
Can you bend over and kiss your hiney goodbye? Because here you go.
Well done.
Not a good thing. So anyways, this was all approved. So
The
you're gonna see
Bank
some
of
changes.
Dead would not approve.
Right. Now this was the first reading, so there's going to be a second reading coming up at the next meeting. Zoning ordinance. Okay, changes to the final documents are still necessary, so they're still reviewing those and some various zoning ordinances concerning parking restrictions of commercial vehicles, standards for landscaper materials, and condominium requirements, ordinance that affect them. So that'll pretty much was approved to set it aside because of the changes that still
Right.
need to be made.
Right.
Okay? And let me see, there were Boy Scouts in the audience. And we'll talk about the Boy Scouts when we come back, right after this. Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And at this trustee board meeting that they had on February 14th, they had a group of Boy Scouts there going for a badge. And they were
Going for a badge or
yeah.
going for Eagle?
No, they're going for badge, not for
Okay.
Eagle.
Okay.
Let me see. It's called the Arrow of Life badge. And each of the young men came to the podium and spoke, to Bill Dunn. Bill Dunn, supervisor of the township, who was also chairman, of course, of this particular board. Excuse me. Then an exchange student was introduced, and he's from India, and he talked about he wants to get into politics, and he discussed that he was going to attend a university here in the United States, and he was looking at University of Michigan. And of course, one of the council or representatives of the board, he says, University of Michigan State? He says, no, University of Michigan.
Oh, well.
Well, okay. Half the people left the crowd then. Okay. So anyway, so he's a pretty nice young man. He attends Oxford High School at this point, and he's a senior. Okay, new business, cemetery maintenance, lawn. 3 bids came in for it to maintain the lawns for a cemetery for the township. One was Aaron's Lawn, Lawn and Order in Oxford, lives in Oxford.
Lawn and Order?
Lawn and Order. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, cute.
Yeah,
Cute.
Yeah, cute. Fisher Lawn Service also from Lapeer made a bid, and LWS Lawn Service in Oxford also made a bid. Now, what is interesting here is that a motion was made by Joe Ferrari to hire the Fisher Lawn Service out of Lapeer.
Who had the lowest bid?
They did not have the lowest bid.
Just threw
They
that
had a $177,000 bid, while Aaron's, who was a local guy and who has a home here in Oxford and whose children attend Oxford High School or grade schools and schools in this area, he had the lowest bid, $175,000. But he was only one person as a company. He's going to put more people on, of course, and looks to expand his business locally. And the reason why supposedly Fisher Lawn was selected by Curtis Wright and by Joe Ferrari and those that served on this selection board, and Bill Dunn, is that he has a bigger company and has more people working out of Lapeer. Well, that didn't rest too well with Jack Curtis. Jack Curtis says, whoa, wait a minute. You're going to give this business somebody else who's not in the village, who's paying taxes and so forth in village, in the township? And he said, it doesn't make sense to him. He said, when we're looking to support the people, businesses within our community, So anyway, and of course, another guy, Elgin Nichols, chimed in support of that as well.
Is there a performance clause in the contract?
Well, here's the thing. They took a vote on it, and it didn't pass. So
What didn't pass?
Fisher Lawn was not accepted.
Okay.
So the motion was made by Joe Ferrari. It was seconded by Bill Dunn, but it did not pass. The people who voted against it was Patty Durr, Jack Curtis, Marjorie Payne, and yours truly. Okay. So it was turned down. The next motion made was by Jack Curtis to appoint Aaron's Lawn and Order, as the servicing agent, for the cemetery. So, vote was taken. And this time, Bill Dunn said yes. Joe Ferrari said yes. Curtis Wright said no. Everybody else said yes. So we have a new lawn service. It's Fisher Lawn and Service, or not Fisher Lawn Service, I'm sorry.
Who had the contract before?
Aaron's Lawn. Huh?
Who had the contract
It was
before?
a single guy that owned it, and he's from actually Lake Orion originally, and
Okay.
he was hired by Parks and Rec, by Ron,
Okay.
Parks and Rec. So that's where he's working now. So Aaron's Lawn and Order was selected as a local business to do this service. Great idea, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
Okay?
By local.
And by local. Okay. CDBG was approved, Community Development Block Grant for $10,420 for Oxford Orion Fish. That one went through rather quickly. And also minor home repair CDBG for that company was also approved for $43,681. Fire Department, Pete Schultz. Let me see, contract for Fire Department as well as Police 911 service was immediately approved as well. After, there's a little bit of discussion concerning their communication system that they're going to upgrade apparently on the county level.
Okay.
So it'll conform with the rest of what state is doing. So that's what happened at the Oxford Township Board of Trustees meeting. Next one we're going to talk about is DDA meeting. The M24 Task Force meeting was held on February 19th.
Special
And
meeting?
It was a meeting that was called, special. Let me see, it's going to be possibly by spring, early summer 2019 is when they're going to start digging in the ground, understand, by MDOT. Oxford plans must be submitted, however, by March 7th for the TAP program. That's the Transportation Alternative Program that they have under MDOT. But all that information has to be in to them by March 7th. So that looks like that's on schedule. Budget options were scaled down somewhat to the original plan because we don't have an extra year to generate funds for you, to do the streetscape and so forth. So they did eliminate purchase of new lamp post down to Market Street from downtown. Instead, they're going to use the old post and run those down because they're in pretty good shape. They just have to put in new base, stainless steel base units to support them. So that will save a lot of money
The
doing it that
aluminum one's
way.
corroded?
Yeah, they were roughly about 300,000 short. And by the time this committee was finished, they're 50,000, in the black.
Okay.
So they're in good shape in terms of having to do this program.
Why do I have a feeling there's so many potholes out there right now that this could get pushed off again?
No, the county is not going to do anything with those potholes until, they're going to try to hold as long as they can so they can completely redo
There's
the
some
surface.
horrendous ones out there.
There are. They could gobble up your car and you could lose yourself and your whole family very easily.
They call those sinkholes at that point.
Yeah, right. Suction holes, there it goes. Village of Oxford DDA was the next thing that came up on February 19th. It was held at 6 o'clock p.m. Pete Schultz is the chairperson. Rod Charles serves on that board. Nicole Ellsworth, Dorothy Johnston, Nancy Rosenstrater, Susan Schuer, and Sue Bassardit and Elgin Nichols is on that board, appointed by the township. Pledge went through that. Consent agenda was including the bills, $77,910.88. So if you got the money, go ahead and write it up.
All right.
Yep. So unfinished business, snow removal. They did talk about the snow removal and requirements for ordinance standpoint and the strength that they need to put power on. A strategic plan was another thing that was provided by Glenn Pape in a document about yay thick that no one really had the chance to look through it completely, so that was kind of postponed. M24 update was updated so that every member knew what was going on who did not attend the task force meeting. Now, with that, what's coming up?
Not much. Well,
Not much.
on 3/6 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission will be meeting. And on 3/8 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission will be meeting. And at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals will be meeting. But you know how that goes. You can check, make sure it isn't canceled.
Darn. This is Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time right here.